Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for our latest Monday.com user group. For those who've been here before, welcome back. For those who've attending for the first time, thanks for joining us. We run these every month, normally on the second Wednesday. And the idea here really is that we're going to run through new features, new functions of Monday, but also give you the opportunity to ask questions along the way. If you've got something specific you want us to cover during the session, happy to do that. Equally, if you've got questions you want to address in another call afterwards, then we're more than happy to do that as well. So my name is Martin MacNamara from Provident, and along with Ralph and Gary, today we'll be talking to you about using Monday for sales and CRM. So it's one of the new products that's part of Monday, which we want to show you a little more detail around. So that's going to be the focus for today. So a little different to what we've done maybe in the past. Just again to give you some kind of outlines in terms of what we're doing. A little longer than usual today, so probably about 45 minutes because we've quite a lot of aspects to cover, which we want to show you. Again, please, any stage, please ask questions, whether it's in the chat, in the Q&A, or open your mic and ask a question. Much rather have those questions than not. You don't want to listen to me the whole time, so please do that. We will, of course, record this as always, and we will send you the recording afterwards if you want that. And we'll also probably send you a survey just to get your feedback on it. Are we addressing the right things you want to see? Is there other things you'd like to see coming from us in any of these sessions? So it's based on your feedback, we can change things and hopefully do a better job. So we're going to run through it then today. Now, so let me just, I'm going to stop sharing this for a moment, and I will bring you over into Monday so we can start talking about that. So give me 1 second, share my screen. You should be able to see my Provident Monday sales CRM product now. So let me just explain a little about what we're talking about then today. So I mentioned, I think, on the last one we did last month about how Monday has changed things slightly, and there are now a variety of different products available within Monday. So before, the only options you had when it came to Monday was you had a basic board, and then you could add templates to take account of different workflows, different scenarios that you want to use Monday in. This goes beyond that into a much more involved product specifically to a particular use case using Monday. So it's based on the most frequent use cases there are for Monday. And it gives you, rather than just giving you a template, it gives you a whole workspace dedicated to that particular use case. So everybody gets, as standard, the work management Monday, which is the standard Monday, which you're all used to. And then there are a variety of different additional products which sit then on top of that, depending upon your use case. So today we're going to be talking about the Monday Sales and CRM product. And in future sessions, we will also cover Monday Marketeer, Monday Projects, and Monday Dev. So these are additional products over and above the Work OS to address a particular use case. So for example, everybody in the company might have the Work OS, the sales team might have the sales and CRM product, your marketing team might have the marketing product, and your projects team or others might have the projects thing. So depending upon use cases across that. So there's some new changes in Monday. So today we're going to look at the Monday Sales and CRM product. So that's what I'm in now. So just to explain again what we're looking at here. So this is what comes out of the box with the Sales and CRM product, is a whole load of pre-built boards, pre-built automations, and workflow built into this from the beginning. So rather than just having a board or maybe 2 or 3 boards as part of a template, this gives you a much more complete solution. So in this case, you can see down the left-hand side, we've got boards for leads, for opportunities, for accounts, contacts, and then we've also got a load of pre-built dashboards to show how we're doing in terms of attainment, in terms of where our leads are coming from, in terms of even onboarding and hiring for sales team, and other aspects that can help the sales process are already made into here. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through from the beginning in terms of how we might get leads into this, what happens from there, how we qualify the leads, how we create an account, how we create a contact, how we track the activities and the communication between us and those leads, and how we can bring it through then the whole sales cycle to a closed won opportunity. And then even there, we've got some post-sales aspects which we can show you in terms of how we can then hand that over to accounts for invoicing and collection, and equally hand it over to a project or to a delivery team to deliver whatever it is that we've sold ultimately. So although it's very much sales and CRM, you can see how it's going to tie into other aspects of business then as well. So let's start then with the leads. I'm going to take you through a little bit of this. Ralph is going to show us about some of the communication, and I'll go into more detail then after that. So from a lead perspective, we've got a lead board. Okay, pretty simple. And we're capturing here names, emails, phone numbers of people that we want, that are potentially interested in what we're selling. We can capture them then in a number of different ways. So the best way is we can use a Monday form like this, which we could then embed on a website, have a link to wherever it is, and in here then we can collect all the information we need about the lead. So the person can fill in this with all their details. So I might type it a bit slow. Company details. And we can adjust this form to be whatever we need to whatever information we want to capture. Generally speaking, our recommendation would be the less information you request from somebody at this stage, the better, because they're more likely to complete the form. Anyway, the idea here is that we're providing an easy way to bring a lead information into our Monday CRM. So if we go back into our lead board here now, we can now see that Ronan is in here now as a new lead with the details that we've put in, and the status currently, actually new lead, he's a new lead. And we can do, so we've captured his email address, his phone number, and if we had other information in terms of employees or other aspects we wanted to capture, we could see that in here, region, product type you might be interested in, when the lead arrived, etc. So that person now comes in here as a lead, and then we need to do something with it. So straight away, the first thing we can do is we can automatically assign a salesperson to that lead based on their region, based on their product interest, based on something like that. So I've set up an automation that says, right, well, if they're interested in Monday as a product type, then what that's going to do is automatically going to assign that lead to the Monday team, which I've created. So in the Monday team at the moment, there's just myself, but we could have additional people in here, or we could do it on another criteria. So for example, let's say it was based on a geography, a country or a region or something like that. We could equally have it reassigned to a person based on that. So again, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make Monday do some work for us rather than always change it. So you can see here, this is the automation which I've set up, which is when the product type changes to Monday, assign the Monday team as the owner of that lead. Okay, so it's automatically assigning them. And again, there's other things that we can do there. There's other automations on here that are going to do some work for us. And I'll show you some more of those now as we move along. So we've got our lead in here, which is great. What we want to do next then is we've got to communicate with them. We've got to email them. We've got to talk to them. We've got to establish whether they're, what type of a lead they are. Is there an opportunity with them? What does that opportunity look like? So that's where we're going to have to go into the email and communications aspect of Monday to address that. So I'm going to pass over to Ralph, who's going to take you through some of that now and explain how we can do that and track that in Monday.
Thanks, Martin. Appreciate that. You had to go with O'Gara, though, of all the people. We'll forgive you for that one. So as we can see, we have O'Gara here as a new lead, and we want to basically reach out to Ronan and basically see what he's looking to do. And this is where we start going into the emails and activities tab within Monday. So as we see, we have Ronan's contact details. The owner of the product is going to be the Monday team, as Martin mentioned, and the status is as a new lead. We have a contact email address and a phone number. So let's pop him an email. We can reach out here. Once we log into the CRM, we can link our own work email address into Monday. So any communication that goes out from Monday will also go out onto your Outlook tab or Gmail, whichever provider you use. And that's going to be kept within that. So what do we want to say to Ronan? We want to reach out and basically see, I don't know, something like that, you know, communication to him. And we want to, bear with me a second. We want to use our templates if possible. Which aren't working for me. So we can auto-populate fields from within the board that we had. So, you know, we know what the group name is going to be, who the owner of this is, the status, all these kind of things that are going to be kept in. But what these are doing are creating traceable elements for us to figure out what's going on within it. So let's send that email off to him and we can communicate to him. And that email is then stored within the system. So we know that I sent out this email to Ronan today. And if any of my colleagues need to come into that email and see where we are, say, for example, I was off on holidays or somebody's jumping into support within that particular lead that we're going with, we know that I sent out that email and information. We can also add activities into the system as well. So let's say, for example, we've created a meeting and that meeting is going to be on a particular date. Let's say, for example, we want it to be next Monday from 1:30 to 2. We can schedule that meeting and send that. So once we connect our Google Calendar, we can send that over and we can save the date and time so that we know that we have an appointment made and we know that both I and any of my colleagues working within the team know that this lead is potentially going somewhere and that we're doing something with it. We can also track down the notes from that particular meeting that we're having or a call summary. So we want to pop in the call summary. We had this call today. We're going along. What was the particular descriptions or what was the particular subject that we discussed? How did we get on with it? Anything that was kind of taken from that call, we have information there. And that's the key point, is that information is constantly being updated and we're always aligned with what's happening. One of the things you may notice is that the email there has a couple of different elements to it. So we're managing our accounts. We know that I'm already linked into this. We can obviously take ourselves out of that Outlook or email if needs be. But another strong piece of this is we can set up automations within our emails. So it really does help speed up the process of reaching out to our leads. So once we set up an automation, that'll bring us into the automation center. It should do. But for some reason, things aren't working for me today. We can pop our own signature into Monday. So if you already have an existing signature with an Outlook, take that, copy it into Monday, and then your HTML layout or however you want it to be is going to be there and saved. You may notice that when you send out emails from the system, you may want to remove monday.com branding from your emails. And on pro and enterprise levels, you absolutely can do that. You just tick that and it removes it. So there's no problem at all. I have that there. So that's a brief overview of the emails and activities. I'll hand it back to Martin to show where we go with from there.
Well, there's your automations there.
Yeah, they finally got in there. So when an email is opened, that's a really key point, is that one of your emails has gotten through to a customer, that's been opened, and that we can notify somebody with a message. When it's created, we can set a due date on that as well. When incoming emails are received from the email column, we can obviously be notified of that as well. So lots of different automations that can really help speed up a process of how you deal with your clients and the information that you're getting through from your clients. So I'll hand back to Martin to go on from there.
Yeah, super. Thanks, Ralph. So quick idea of how it works there from Ralph. So thanks for that. So really the idea is then we're tracking the information about that particular lead that we've got, and then I can come in here to Ronan's record and I can see the interaction that Ralph has had with them, the email that he sent, any meeting notes, etc., from there. So that's quite cool in terms of how we can track that. And then we've still got the usual things in here, as in we can chat about this. So I can, for example, Ralph, what did you talk about, in case I don't have enough information already in the notes that he's made, and we can have that back and forth communication now, specifically about that lead, about that contact. And then we've got a full list of all the activity log if we want to look back at, you know, where did that lead come from, and so on and so forth from there. So that's just one example of how we can get a lead into Monday. Now, equally, there's other ways we could do it. So, for example, if you have, let's say, an email address where people are sending inquiries in, then that can automatically populate into the board as well. Obviously, we can enter them in manually from here too. If you're getting phone calls, they need to enter in details, you can do that here. So lots of different ways that we can bring it in. The lead is just one example, but it's an easy way of streamlining that way of bringing the data into Monday. So we've got our leads coming in here. We can have a look at things like our leads dashboard, which is going to show us where our leads are coming from, what types they are, maybe what channel they're coming from, what region, what area of product interest we've got. So we can start building some reporting and some information in terms of those leads and where they're coming from. So useful information. And even then we can just look at the submissions and so on. From there, we can redesign the form. Obviously, we can change the colors, we can add logos, whatever we want to do from there. So lots of different ways we can do that. So we've spoken to Ronan. We've said, right, yes, definitely he's an interested lead. So we're going to change his status now. We're going to kick off some more of the automations, which are going to do a couple of different things. So I'm going to qualify Ronan. I'm going to say he's a new account. We haven't dealt with him before. So I'm going to change the status to qualified new account. And this is going to kick off then a couple of automations from here, which are going to move things along in the process. So first of all, he's disappeared from the new lead group. He's no longer a new lead. That makes sense. And he's moved down into the qualified leads group. So here he is here, and it's still brought along the same existing information that's there. So I can still see the emails, etc., that we've had, the other items are there today. That's all transferred across. And it's done a couple of other things then as well. So in addition to a lead, it has also created automatically an account. So if we look here, we now have La Rochelle here as an account. And whatever other information we had about that account at this point would come across here. And I've got contacts. Ronan is listed as a contact against that account. We've also created an opportunity, which is our La Rochelle opportunity, which is linked to Ronan as a contact and linked to La Rochelle as an account. And then we can see some other information around it. So right now, we don't have deal values, we don't have anything like that, but we can start putting in some of that information now at this point and adding something and building that opportunity from here. So again, it's created this opportunity automatically based on the automations that are set up in here. So by virtue of my changing the status to a qualified lead, it's created the deal, it's created the account, it's linked them together, and it's also created then a contact in my contact database of Ronan. Okay. So what we're starting to build here, we're starting to build a full picture then of the accounts that we're dealing with, the people at them, and the opportunities that we have with them. So for example, if we look into an account, I can open now the account. So similar to before, so this is the item card for that account. And I can see again, the activities that took place with Ralph earlier on in relation to a contact at that opportunity. I can now see the opportunity related to that account and any other information around it. Equally, if we had other people, other contacts at that account, they would be listed in there as well. So if I create another contact, so I can create a new contact and I can call this okay, and then I can add them to that account as well. So I can connect him to the account, and now he's connected to that account as well. So we can start building up those people who are connected to the account and building the database. So we're building a full CRM database for the company, for the different people at it, and we can track the activities across all of those different people. I don't have people in, oh, here we go, contacts. So this is going to show now the different contacts that we have at that company. It's just refreshing at the moment. So we've got our leads. we've got our opportunities, we've got our accounts, we've got our contacts, we've also got activities. So what we're doing here is we're tracking activities that are taking place in relation to any of these. This is more for measurement and reporting down the road. It's not something we typically look at, but it's just in there. If I look then at my opportunities, so I've got my opportunities in here. Let's just have a look at the different groups I've got. So I've got my working opportunities, my closed won, and my lost things, and a quick snapshot here in terms of values, stages, etc., from there. Better than that, what I can do is I can look at a dashboard. So I can look at a dashboard just on my opportunities and see what stages they're at. So I can see, for example, 6% are won, 2% are lost, and the various different stages my other deals are at. I can look at, for example, how many deals have been closed this month, who they've been closed by in terms of salespeople, and I can look at things like forecast and various different stages of what those forecasts are, and excuse me, I can also look at the information behind them. So I can click into this deal and I can see the information behind this and see, what the status of that is. Equally, maybe I want to look at my opportunities in a different view. And again, if you've been using Monday, you'll be familiar with some of this. We can look at all of our deals from a Kanban point of view, if that's what we want to see. We can look at them from a Gantt perspective, if that's what we want to see. So lots of different ways that we can look at that pipeline. We can look at that pipeline across different views within Monday once we've got the information in here. I want to move on then to closing my deal, right? So I've got my deal in here. I've gone through my various different stages. I'm going to assign that to Johnny, who's going to look after that deal. It's a high priority deal. It's now changed to a negotiation phase. That's going to update the probability. It's going to update the forecast. So again, there's lots of automations here happening in the background, which are going to move things along to different stages depending upon what we do. So for example, when the deal is created, it's going to set a creation date, which allows us then to track the length of time that our deal actually takes. Again, that's going to feed into metrics down the road, which can be useful for us in terms of reporting. Forecast value based on the negotiation stage, the close probability will update, which will update our forecast, which again has knock-on effects in terms of reporting down the road. So eventually we conclude our deal. So we're going to change this to a one deal. And again, going to kick off some automations then based on that change in status. So it's moved now from a working pipeline. It's moved down into closed won. Here's the deal. Again, with all the detail brought across, the value, et cetera, and so on from there. So that's all brought across. And again, it kicked off a couple of other things then from this point. So we've closed, we've sold whatever it is that we're selling, our product, our service. Fantastic news, great. We've put up the achievement on our sales dashboard, but we now got to deliver whatever it is that we've sold. And we've also got to collect the money for whatever it is that we've sold. So first of all, what we can do then is we can create an automation which is going to create a client project, where we can then bring our project into here for delivery then to whether it's physical delivery or whatever it might be in here, we can create that. First of all, we can create a onboarding of that client to what we're selling or a service that we're providing. So straight away we can see here, here's my client onboarding, here's my deal, which has been won, and now I could hand that over maybe to an account manager, to a delivery manager, to a project manager, whatever it might be from there. So I can hand that over now to Letitia, and Letitia then can look after delivering that deal to the client that we've sold to. So we're moving it on from just the sales process now into how we deliver whatever it is that we've sold. We need to then as well, we need to invoice and we need to collect the money from that account. So again, automatically, we've created a project for pending invoice for that deal with the information. So right now it's at minus 30 days for collection. We're giving 30 days credit. So we're not supposed to do anything with this until, in this instance, November the 11th. So that's another automation that we've set up, which says that, right, when we close one deal, after 30 days, we need to issue an invoice or collect the money or whatever it might be from there. And again, then we can update in terms of actual collection date. We can see all the information here. And because, so we can see it was created October the 12th, and because we've got all the information and it's linked to the company, then we can enable the accounts team to follow up on that, and they've got the information they need to follow up and say, right, we've delivered this to you, this is what you owe, we can send the invoice, we've got all the details around it. So all the way through from the lead, the opportunity, the pipeline management, the invoicing and collection, the actual delivery of what we're doing. So we're going beyond just the sales aspect, but into other parts of the sales process as well, beyond just the selling it. Again, please, if you have any questions on any aspect we're covering, please either open up the mic and ask them, or if you want to put them in the Q&A or in the chat, please do so. Happy to take any questions that you've got and address them as we can here. I want to show you then a couple of other aspects then as well, in terms of some of the analysis and some of the reporting that we can create from here. So we've got a couple of different dashboards set up, and remember, this is part of the sales and CRM product. The automations that are set up here are pre-existing ones, but we can change them to adapt them to whatever your specific needs, requirements, workflows are. So just have a quick look at some of these. So here's an overview dashboard for account management. So this is just showing me some of my customer base in terms of revenue, in terms of renewal, because I'm selling in this instance, in this example, a subscription. When I expect them to renew by month, what that looking like in terms of forecast for that. I can look at sales in terms of, again, forecast, actuals, target, by month, by team. Lots of different ways I can present the information. So all those bits that we've been filling in along the way in terms of type of deal, type of product, close rate, value, etc., they're all going to feed into some of these dashboards and give us some nice analysis in terms of what we're doing. And again, this is all happening automatically. So once we've configured this to your specific metrics or KPIs you want to see, then this fills in automatically as long as we're keeping that deal level together. So lots of different ways that we can look at that. So we've got not just sales, but we're also looking at, in this case, what our cash collection looks like and what the status is of that. And we've even got an aspect here where we've addressed in terms of hiring, headcount, what our plans are in that regard as well. So this is very much an overview dashboard for our whole kind of business, and it's connected to various different boards which are summarizing that data for us. So it's connected to the sales team, it's connected to the opportunities, connected to the invoices. That's how it's bringing that data together into here. But maybe I don't want to look at overall, maybe I want to look at, for example, just sales. So I can put together a sales dashboard, which is going just into sales attainment, showing me the type of activities that are taking place, showing the activities that my salespeople are having, and again, looking at things like forecasts, showing me my top value deals in this instance and what they are, so I can deal with those or focus on those. I can see percentage attainments by team, by salesperson, whatever it might be. So again, I can put that together into here and get an overview of that. I can split that up a different way. Maybe I want to look at my pipeline analysis in a different way. I can look at my targets, what that's looking like in terms of where it's being generated from, what stage they're at, by month, where my pipeline is coming from. Lots of different ways that we can split up and show the information once we've got it. And again, obviously, we can change any of these dashboards. We can adapt them, but out of the box, these are coming for you. So that's the sales process. That's some example of the different types of business analysis we can do in terms of dashboarding and so on. And then I just want to show you a couple of other things that we can do. So we can do even things like headcount planning. So we find we've done a business plan. We've got a certain number of people we expect on board to deliver on this. So here we can even do some planning in terms of those people, what type of people we need, what areas we need them in, and what team they're joining, maybe what their area is, and do some planning around that. We can do something simple, like we can create an onboarding plan for those new hires. So when we hire someone on, we need to set them up on email, we need to set them up on Teams or Zoom, we need to add them to various different other tools that we might be using. So in here we can see, here's the checklist basically for each new person. and the various different things they're going to need access to. So again, just a way of checking off and making sure we're giving them the access to all the tools that they need, and then even laying out the plan in terms of who they need to meet across the company, introducing them to various different aspects of the company, roles and responsibilities and accountability and all that kind of stuff. So we can lay out a whole plan for bringing in a new hire and making sure that they've got the right knowledge they need to get on with their job that they've been hired for. So just a simple example of how we can use Monday for kind of basic task lists, but quite effective in terms of that checklist for those new hires that we have. Some additional aspects that we've got in here as well is we've got, so as a salesperson, I need access maybe to additional information around what I'm selling. So we can have a section here for case studies. So these are existing clients we've already sold to and may have a similar use case to a new client that we're talking to. So here's an area where we can put those case studies into here and provide an easy access for salespeople to access those case studies and see what they want from here. We've got other things we need. So maybe we've got some legal documents or terms and conditions or presentations or brochures or whatever it might be. Again, we can provide those in here right in Monday in our sales and CRM product. And here's the file that I need, so I can access it readily as a salesperson and share it with my team, with my opportunities, with whatever else I've got going on. Maybe we need some legal requests. Maybe there's an NDA, maybe there's some kind of contract which needs to be signed. Again, we can create an area in here for that, where we can pass that information on. We've got particular security requests where maybe a client has a particular requirement there. We can address that in here. So again, you can see that as well as just having the kind of core CRM aspects in terms of leads, opportunities, accounts, and contacts, we can also bring it further than that. So I showed you how we've got the leads and how we can take people through the sales process. I've showed you how we can do the invoices and collections and create then tasks for the finance team to follow up on that. I've showed you how we can create the client project so that we can then deliver whatever it is that we've sold, whether it's a product or a service, how we can hand that over to the project manager or delivery team, how we can analyze how we can analyze some of those different aspects of it, and how we can even start looking at things like hiring in terms of who do we need to achieve those targets, and then other aspects we can do in terms of onboarding those hires, reporting on them, and how we can provide supporting sales materials to our users to help them do their job better. That's about all I'm going to run through for the there are some additional parts I forgot to do. Again, if you have questions, please jump in. I'll tend to keep talking otherwise. Integrations. Across all of Monday, we need to link Monday to other tools across the business that we might be using. So Ralph was showing you earlier how we can have our email integrated into this so that we can send our emails either from within Monday or from within our existing email. So we can see here already how Ralph sent an email to Ronan, and that was in here as a record against that. Now he sent that from within Monday. Equally, I could send that from within Outlook or Gmail or whatever it is, and it will populate into here as well. So it doesn't matter whichever one you're comfortable using. That's fine. That's not the only tool that we can integrate. We can also obviously integrate other things. So there is an integration center in here where we can connect up other common tools that we might be using. So for example, maybe you want to connect your Google Drive or your OneDrive into here. We can connect Microsoft Teams, we can connect Slack, we can connect maybe some marketing tools we use. It could be LinkedIn, could be Google AdWords, could be Facebook ads, calendar. Ralph was showing you earlier on as well how we can do that. So lots of ways that we can simply add existing tools that we're using and connect them to Monday as well, so we can bring together more of that information into Monday and provide a centralized view of that. So you can see down the left here, the different categories there are, and there are a lot of out-of-the-box integrations, as you can see. Over and above that, there are some custom integrations, particularly in the areas of finance, which you may not see on here, but if you do have a requirement for there, please contact us directly and we can talk about those too. I've shown you some of the automations that we have. that are driving some of the activities on here. So we have that automation center in here. Lots of automations already set up on here. And then we have that automation center where we can set up anything recurring or anything that needs to happen when something happens. So lots of existing automations that exist to cover common tasks that we might see, or equally we can create a custom automation when something happens. Do this, reassign to somebody, send a notification, update somebody. Lots and lots of ways that we do that. So really powerful to do. Quite simple to set up, quite easy to do, but really powerful in terms of the impact they can have on your workflow. I'm going to pause for a second and see if there's any questions. Yes.
Yeah. So just on if we wanted to standardize our approach to a sales qualified or a marketing qualified lead before we move it over to an opportunity, could we have custom fields that the agent or the user have to actually complete and then automatically drive the status to qualified new account, which would then move it onto a different board or onto a different category?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can see already in here we've got a lead score in here, which is helping to drive some of the priority around those leads. So if we just click on here, what we've got already here is it's setting up a lead score based on some of the information we've captured. So in this case, the title is a good indication of the seniority of the person and therefore their power potentially. The number of employees in the company, again, size of opportunity typically related to that. And then in this instance, we've got required number of licenses. So based on those information which we may have captured, so for example, we could scroll across here, we can see some employee amounts, and we can see some license requirements, and we can see title. So based on those, it's informing the lead score here, which is giving us a priority then in terms of which leads we're going to prioritize, which ones we're going to focus on. So for example, what I could do is I could filter and I could say, right, just show me the ones where the what's that column, lead score. So filter by, if I can find the right column. So title score. So just show me the ones that have a title score of 5. So I can now create a more focused view of my leads where I can just see the ones that are, more important. And then I could easily set up an automation that, for example, where the lead score hits a certain number, then automatically prioritize that or reassign that to a particular person to look after. So lots of different ways that we could adapt it to take account of that.
Yeah. And are you just using lead score just an example of it working rather than that's how you do it? It could be anything.
It could be anything at all. Exactly. Yeah. That's just one example. So whatever criteria we want. So if there's some other field that we want to take account of, we can just add in a field, add in a column, pick the column that we want, and based on that, set up a workflow for an automation from there.
Okay, very good. At least when we look at the KPI of what a converted lead is or what a qualified lead is, we can standardize that and we can use that to properly rank. That's okay. Thanks.
Exactly. Yep. Other questions? I think we had some questions, did we, earlier on? Sorry, I can't see them, Ralph. Could you maybe tell me what some of the questions we had were?
The question came in from Rachel with regards to Sage and an integration with that. While there isn't currently out of the box integration with Monday and Sage, that is something that we at Provident can actually assist with. So Rachel and I are going to just talk offline with regards to options available to them to do something like that. That's the only questions, but anybody else have any questions at all, please feel free to drop it into the chat box there and we will do our best to answer.
There was some in the Q&A section. Was there off? I can't see it on the screen at the moment, but maybe you can.
So one question was how to link the CRM to other areas of the business, such as finance and operations or stock systems.
Yeah, sure. So I think I hopefully covered a little bit of that in terms of the integrations that exist out of the box and the different ones that there are here. There are lots of them in here, but obviously there's a lot of tools out there as well. So if the pre-existing integration doesn't already exist within Monday in the integration center, two options. There is a app store within Monday. Here, Apps Marketplace. And there are an increasing number of applications in here to address particular aspects of it. So if you have a particular requirement, it's not already in the integration section, by all means have a look in here to see if there are integrations, or if there isn't something in there, please talk to us. We may have a solution already, or we may be able to help you with that custom integration. There's so many tools out there, it isn't possible to have one that addresses everything. So a lot of what we do as well is creating custom integrations between Monday and other tools that you have. So if you do have something specific you want to talk about, please get in touch and we'll do our best to help you out.
Another question is, when an account has more than one contact, how do you go about tracking their emails?
Sure, yeah. So I think I showed earlier on in terms of how you could have in an account, you can have multiple people at that account. So if we look at La Rochelle as the account that we created earlier on, and we've now got a couple of different contacts. It's coming up here now at the moment. We've got Ronan and we've got Paul, if I'm not mistaken, are the contacts here. So once we have the contact and their email address listed in here, then it will automatically sync across the contact and into the opportunity, if that person is linked to the opportunity, and also into the company. So if we had an email in here to another contact, that will also show up here in the company card and in the relevant person's item card as well. So we're tracking all the different people that we're interacting with across the company, not just one person. By tying them together, by having effectively the people tied to the contact, that's what allows us to do that. So we can see our different people in here. So for example, I can add another contact into here, and now I can see there are additional contacts in here. So when I go into my contacts page here, for some reason the contacts are slow to load, but we can track the interactions across the different people in here as well.
You've already touched on it several times, but one important question that came in was in regard to the functions to support the CRM, automations, communications, integration, and automations. Like, that's one of the key strengths of Monday, is its openness and its communications. And I think that as it expands and grows, the emails and activities tab and the contact center that we're kind of building within an account, they're all kind of key features of how the CRM will grow within a company's business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important, that we can, we're potentially asking people to take on a new tool here, but what we want to make it is we want to make it easy for them. So how do we make it easy for them? We make it that they can use it with their familiar tools they're already using. So like that with email, if I want to track emails, I don't need to get used to sending my emails in Monday. I can do that, absolutely, and there are advantages to doing that. But equally, if I'm used to sending them in Outlook or in Gmail, keep doing that. It's going to automatically log into Monday and record that activity. So we're not making it too difficult for users to adapt either.
Sorry, I just have another question, Martin. If I have an existing account that's quite complex and I've created an awful lot of boards, if I add this in, this just gets appended to my existing environment. It's not a separate environment or anything if I decided I want to start using the same functionality.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good question. Yes, if you've got an existing Monday account, which is the standard kind of Work OS product, and you want to add in the Monday sales and CRM product, it is just on top of your existing product. So for example, if I look into here and browse all my different workspaces, I've got main workspaces, which are nothing to do with sales and CRM. But I have, in this instance, I've got these products added then on top of it. So it's the same account. The Work OS, work management, is the core product. And then Monday sales and CRM sits then on top of that. And I can decide who gets access to that. So I can decide I just need the sales team to have access to that. So I only need licenses for the sales team as opposed to for the whole company. But yeah, it sits on top of the existing product.
Okay, thanks. And you'll touch on the other ones in other sessions, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to, I said it's quite a change to Monday in terms of the offering, but we're going to address then in future sessions, we're going to address the Monday marketing product, which is focused, as you can imagine, at marketing teams and a projects product, it's hard to say. We're going to address that as well in more detail and show you some aspects of that. If you have a specific requirement, obviously, for any of these aspects now, and you would like to talk to us about those in detail, please let me know, and more than happy to show you those individually as well.
Okay, cool, thanks.
So any other questions from anybody that we can help with today? We're more than happy to take any of those. So we will send you the recording of this afterwards. Happy to have a conversation, either myself or Ralph, with you about any aspect of it, or if you've got other questions that we haven't addressed today about any other aspect, again, happy to have a call with you to address those. If not, then I'll say thank you very much for attending. Really appreciate your time for coming to join us today. Please, we will send you a survey afterwards. Please do get back to us. I'd love to get your feedback and see if this has been useful to you or not, or if there's something you'd like us to address in future. We are going to do some information covering the other new products on the next session, or equally, we're going to do just a basic question and answer one on one of our future ones as well. If you have colleagues who you feel would benefit from joining this, please do let them know. And if there's anything we can do between now and the next one, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks very much for your time.